Hello, everyone. Welcome back to our English podcast. My name is Jack, and I'm very happy you're here today. If you are learning English and you want to speak simple, real English, this podcast is for you. Today, want to share about simple speaking routine. Before we start, please like this episode, subscribe to the channel, and share it with a friend who is learning English. Good job for being here. Now, relax, sit comfortably, and let's start. Chapter 1. The Psychology of Speaking. Why your mindset matters more than your grammar. Most English learners believe that their struggle with speaking comes from a lack of vocabulary or poor grammar. However, the reality is often psychological. You don't have a language problem, you have a confidence barrier. In this chapter, we will dismantle the mental hurdles that keep your mouth shut even when your brain knows the words. 1.1. The Perfectionist Trap and the Silent Killer of Progress. The biggest enemy of fluency is the desire to be perfect. When you try to speak, your internal monitor or inner critic becomes hyperactive. It checks every verb tense and every preposition before you let a word out. The result? Long pauses, stuttering, and anxiety. The reality? Native speakers make mistakes too. In real conversation, communication is the goal, not perfection. The shift: you must move from an accuracy-first mindset to a message-first mindset. If the person you are talking to understands your point, you have succeeded. 1.2. The Science of Affective Filter. In linguistics, Stephen Krashen introduced the concept of an affective filter. This is an invisible mental block that prevents you from learning or speaking effectively when you are stressed, embarrassed, or bored. High filter. When you are nervous, your brain's processing power is used up by anxiety. You forget words you actually know. Low filter. When you are relaxed and having fun, the language flows naturally. Actionable tip: before you start your daily speaking routine, take 3 deep breaths. Tell yourself, it is okay to make mistakes. They are my stepping stones to fluency. 1.4. Overcoming the foreigner identity. Many learners feel like children when they speak English because they cannot express their complex adult thoughts with a limited vocabulary. This leads to a loss of identity. Reframing: don't see yourself as a student trying to pass a test. See yourself as a bilingual communicator in training. Small wins. Celebrate the fact that you can speak 2 languages, even if one is still developing. This builds the winner's effect in your brain, releasing dopamine that helps with memory retention. 1.5. The Role of Visualization. Professional athletes use visualization to perform better. You can do the same for speaking. The exercise: spend 2 minutes every morning closing your eyes and imagining yourself having a smooth, confident conversation in English. Why it works? Your brain has difficulty distinguishing between a vividly imagined event and a real one. By seeing yourself succeed, you reduce the fear of the actual event. Chapter 2. The Triple S Daily Routine, the Core. Building the muscle memory of fluency. Fluency is not a knowledge problem. It is a muscle memory problem. Your tongue, lips, and vocal cords need to be trained just like an athlete's muscles. The Triple S routine, shadowing, self-talk, and summary, is designed to automate your speech. 2.1. S1. Shadowing, the ear-tongue connection. Shadowing is the practice of repeating a native speaker's words almost at the same time you hear them. You are following them like a shadow. Why it works. It forces your brain to process sounds, rhythm, and intonation at native speed. It stops you from translating because there simply isn't enough time to think in your native language. How to do it? The 5-step process. Select. Find a 30 to 60-second audio clip with a transcript, TED Talks, podcasts, or YouTube. Listen. Just listen once to understand the context. Read aloud. Read the transcript out loud to ensure you know all the words. Shadow with text. Play the audio and speak along while looking at the text. Focus on the stress. Which words are louder or longer? Blind shadowing. Play the audio and speak along without looking at the text. Pro tip. Focus on connected speech. Notice how "what do you" sounds like "what a ya." Copy that exact sound. 2.2 S2 Self-talk, the thinking process. Self-talk is the art of narrating your life. If you cannot speak to yourself, you will never be able to speak to others. The 3 levels of self-talk. Level 1. The present moment. The narrator. Describe what you are doing right now. I'm opening the fridge. I'm looking for eggs. Oh, we're out of milk. I should add that to my grocery list. Level 2. The planner. Talk about your future tasks. Tomorrow morning, I have a meeting at 10 a.m. First, I'll prepare the slides, then I'll grab a coffee. Level 3. The emotional reflection. Express how you feel. I'm feeling a bit tired today because I stayed up late. I think a short walk might help me feel more energized. The goal. To build a direct link between your thoughts and your English speech, bypassing your native language entirely. 2.3 S3 Summary. The content creator. The final stage is summary. This involves taking information in and producing it back out in your own words. The 1-2-1 method. 1-minute input. Read a short news paragraph or watch a 1-minute video clip. 2 minutes preparation. Quickly think of 3 main points. Do not write them down. 1-minute output. Set a timer and summarize what you learned out loud. Why this is powerful. It mimics real-life conversation. In a real talk, you listen to someone, input, and then explain your thoughts, output. This exercise trains your brain to organize information quickly. Chapter 3. Advanced Techniques for Fluency. Moving from basic to natural. If Chapter 2 was about the quantity of your speaking, Chapter 3 is about the quality. Here we focus on 3 powerful methods: the pyramid expansion method, the use of fillers, and the concept of chunks. 3.1 The pyramid expansion method. Many learners speak in short, choppy sentences, like, "I like movies, they are fun." The pyramid method trains your brain to build complex sentences naturally by adding layers. How to build a pyramid? Level 1, the core. I went to the park. Level 2, add detail. I went to the park with my brother. Level 3, add time or reason. I went to the park with my brother because the weather was beautiful. And level 4, add feeling or adverb. I went to the park with my brother because the weather was beautiful and we actually ended up staying for hours. Why it works? It prevents you from feeling overwhelmed. You start with a simple thought and decorate it until it becomes a sophisticated sentence. 3.2. The art of fillers, sounding like a native. One of the biggest differences between a textbook and a real conversation is dead air, silence. Native speakers use fillers to keep the conversation moving while they think. If you use these, you won't sound like you're struggling for words. You'll sound like you're thinking. Essential fillers to master. To gain time, well, let me see, or that's a good question. To clarify, I mean, or basically. To add an opinion, to be honest, or if you ask me. And to check understanding, you know what I mean? Or does that make sense? Exercise. Try to explain your favorite food, but force yourself to use at least 3 fillers during the explanation. 3.3. Thinking in chunks, not word by word. Fluent speakers don't build sentences word by word like Lego blocks. They use chunks, groups of words that always go together. Common chunks to memorize. Instead of decide, make up my mind. Instead of remember, keep in mind. Instead of maybe, there's a chance that. Instead of wait, hold on a second. The secret, when you speak in chunks, your brain only has to retrieve 1 item from memory instead of 5 separate words. This drastically increases your speaking speed. 3.4. The mirroring technique for emotion. Fluency isn't just about words, it's about emotion and stress. The technique. Find a video of a speaker expressing a specific emotion, anger, joy, surprise. Copy their facial expressions and hand gestures while repeating their lines. Why it works? Language is tied to the body. When you move your body like a native speaker, your brain finds it easier to produce the language associated with those movements. Chapter 4. Leveraging Technology in 2026. Your 24/7 virtual immersion environment. In this chapter, we explore how to turn screen time into speaking time. We aren't just talking about apps. We are talking about creating a digital ecosystem that forces you to speak. 4.1. Practicing with AI. The end of no partner excuses. The biggest update in 2026 is the evolution of multimodal AI like Gemini Live. You can now have a voice conversation that feels 99% human. The judgment-free zone. The greatest fear for learners is being judged. AI doesn't judge. You can stutter, make mistakes, or ask, how do I say this 1,000 times? The role play prompt. Don't just chat, give the AI a role. Prompt. Hey Gemini, let's role play. You are a grumpy waiter at a fancy restaurant, and I am a customer who found a fly in my soup. Let's start the conversation. Real-time correction. Ask the AI to listen to you and only correct your grammar after you finish your thought. This keeps your flow alive. 4.2. Smart wearables and ambient learning. In 2026, smart glasses and earbuds have changed the game. Object recognition. You can point your camera at an object, and your AI assistant tells you the name and gives you a daily use sentence. Example. You point at a blender, AI says, that's a blender. You can say, I'm going to whip up a smoothie. Transcription apps. Use apps that transcribe your voice in real time. Seeing your spoken words turned into text helps you visualize your grammatical errors instantly. 4.3. Virtual reality immersion. VR has moved from gaming to serious learning. Platforms now allow you to step into a virtual London cafe or a New York office meeting. The benefit, your brain feels like you are physically there. This triggers the situational memory, making it much easier to remember the words you used in that specific virtual environment. 4.4. The SMART Record and Review Method. Stop just recording yourself. Use 2026 tech to analyze yourself. Record for 2 minutes on your phone. Analyze, upload the audio to an AI tool to check your WPM, words per minute. Native speed is roughly 110 to 150 WPM. Identify filler fatigue. The AI will tell you if you are saying or too often, helping you replace them with the professional fillers we discussed in Chapter 3. Chapter 5. Vocabulary expansion without memorizing. From passive knowledge to active speech. Traditional vocabulary learning involves staring at a list of words and their meanings. This is boring and ineffective. To speak fluently, you need active vocabulary, words that come to your mind instantly without effort. 5.1. The power of contextual anchoring. Your brain is like a giant web. If you learn a word in isolation, it has no hooks to stay in your memory. The old way, memorizing enormous equals very big. The new way, anchoring, learning the word through a story or a specific situation. Instead of just enormous, you learn the cost of the project was enormous. Why it works? You aren't just learning a word, you're learning how it behaves with other words. 5.2. Stop learning words, start learning collocations. Collocations are words that naturally hang out together. Native speakers don't think about grammar here. They just know what sounds right. Example, the heavy versus strong rule. We say strong coffee, not heavy coffee. We say heavy rain, not strong rain. We say fast food, not quick food. Actionable tip? When you see a new word, always look at the word before it and the word after it. Write down the whole chunk. 5.4. The active recall circle. To move a word from your passive brain, words you understand but can't say, to your active brain, words you can speak, use the 1-3-5 method. Day 1, find a new word or phrase and use it in one sentence about your life. Day 3, try to use that same word in 3 different contexts. Example, in a work email, in self-talk, and in a thought. Day 5, explain the meaning of that word to your AI assistant, Gemini, in 5 sentences. 5.4. The word family shortcut. Instead of learning one word, learn the whole family. This quadruples your vocabulary with very little effort. Example, the ACT family. Verb, act, she likes to act. Noun, action, take action now. Adjective, active, he is very active. Adverb, actively, I am actively looking for a job. 5.5. Avoid thesaurus overload. A common mistake is trying to learn big words to sound smart. In real English conversation, 80% of communication uses the same 2,000 basic words. Pro tip: focus on mastering phrasal verbs like get over, look up to, and carry on. These are the secret sauce of natural-sounding English. Chapter 6. Setting Milestones. The 30-Day Challenge. The Transformation Roadmap. The biggest mistake learners make is having a vague goal like, I want to be fluent. In this chapter, we break that down into 30 days of specific focus. By the end of this month, speaking English will no longer feel like a task. It will feel like a part of who you are. 6.1. Phase 1. The Foundation. Days 1 through 10. Goal. Build the habit and lower your affective filter, anxiety. Primary task. Complete 10 minutes of self-talk every day. The challenge. Narrate your morning routine from the moment you wake up until you start work. Success milestone. Being able to speak for 2 minutes straight without stopping, even if you make grammar mistakes. 6.2. Phase 2. The Sound of English. Days 11 to 20. Goal. Improve pronunciation and natural rhythm. Primary task. 10 minutes of shadowing daily. The challenge. Find a specific English-speaking role model, for example, a YouTuber or a TED speaker. Your goal is to sound exactly like them for one 30-second clip. Success milestone. Recording yourself and noticing that your sentence stress, which words you emphasize, sounds closer to the original. 6.3. Phase 3. The Complexity Boost. Days 21 through 30. Goal. Use the Advanced Techniques, Chapter 3, and Technology, Chapter 4. Primary task. AI conversations plus the pyramid method. The challenge. Have a 5-minute daily debate with an AI like Gemini Live on a topic you care about, such as, is remote work better than office work? Use at least 3 fillers and 2 complex chunks per session. Success milestone. Using an if condition or a relative clause like the reason why I think so, without pausing to think about grammar. 6.4. The Weekly Review. The Sunday Reset. Every Sunday during this challenge, do a progress audit. Check your first day recording. Listen to how you sounded on day 1. Vocabulary check. Can you use 5 new chunks you learned this week in a sentence? Adjust the difficulty. If the shadowing was too easy, find a faster speaker. If it was too hard, slow down the audio. 6.5. What happens after day 30? Day 31 is not the end. It is the beginning of Phase 2. The maintenance mode. You don't need to do 30 minutes anymore. Just keep the 5-minute self-talk alive. The social leap. Now that your solo confidence is high, it's time to join a conversation club or start speaking to colleagues in English. Chapter 7. Dealing with Plateaus. How to break through when progress feels slow. A plateau is not a sign that you have stopped learning. It is a sign that your brain is consolidating information. In this chapter, we learn how to identify the plateau and use specific shocks to the system to jumpstart your progress again. 7.1. Understanding the Occam's razor of fluency. When you are a beginner, progress is visible because you go from knowing nothing to knowing something. At the intermediate level, your progress is internal. You are becoming faster, more accurate, and more nuanced, but it's harder to see. The plateau mindset. Instead of looking at how far you have to go, look at how far you have come. The science. Your brain is moving English from short-term memory to permanent storage. This takes time and repetition. 7.2. Strategy 1. The variety shock. If you have been doing the same routine for 20 days, your brain has become lazy. It has optimized for that specific routine. To break the plateau, you must change the input and output. Change the content. If you usually listen to news, switch to comedy or stand-up. Change the task. If you usually do shadowing, try reverse translation. Translate an English text into your native language, wait an hour, then try to translate it back into English and compare. 7.3. Strategy 2. Focus on high-value weaknesses. At this stage, general practice isn't enough. You need to perform a weakness audit. Record yourself for 5 minutes. Transcribe it or use AI to do it. Find the pattern. Do you keep using the word good instead of more descriptive words? Do you always mess up the past perfect tense? The surgical strike. Spend the next 3 days only practicing that one specific weakness. 7.4. The Deep Dive, Immersion 2.0. Instead of 15 minutes a day, pick one weekend for a deep dive. The rules: no native language from Saturday 9 a.m. to Sunday 9 p.m. The activity: watch movies, read books, cook a recipe using an English video, and talk to your AI assistant, all in English. The result: this overwhelms the brain and forces it to prioritize English processing. Managing the motivation dip. Motivation is a feeling, but discipline is a habit. When you don't feel like practicing, the 2-minute rule. Tell yourself you will only practice for 2 minutes. Usually, once you start, you will continue. Find a why beyond the language. Don't learn English to learn English. Learn it to understand your favorite Hollywood director or to follow a specific tech trend in Silicon Valley. The never-ending story. Fluency is not a destination, it is a lifestyle. There will always be a new word to learn, a new slang to understand, and a new plateau to cross. The routine you built in these 7 chapters are your toolkit for life. Thank you for listening. Keep practicing every day. This is Jack. See you in the next episode. Goodbye.